There was one person who never failed to throw her carefully curated world into chaos. Brenna's twin brother, Tate. The man below tipped his head towards the plane, and despite the distance between them, it was as though she was staring directly into his intense blue gaze. Her stomach swooped like it always did, before her chin angled. Enough. Her teenage crush days were long behind her. There was no excuse for still feeling so hyper-aware of Tate. Brenna would be running late, and Tate had come to meet her, just like he always did. Then he'd make himself scarce. She looked away. There had been a brief time when Tate hadn't avoided her, but no good would come of revisiting the memories that refused to recede no matter how often she banished them. She could guarantee she wouldn't have ever been on Tate's mind. It had been 2 years since she'd set foot on Glenwood Station. In the week she'd stayed, all they'd had was a short and casual conversation. This trip would be no different. After all, she was simply an old school friend of his sister. Hettie settled back in her seat and made a precautionary pass over the airstrip. After she'd chosen a tree to mark her maximum touchdown point, and she was certain the plane's noise hadn't scared any kangaroos onto the airstrip, she turned the Cessna and readied for landing. When the wheels touched the solid earth, instead of making her feel grounded, all she felt was adrift. If the stakes weren't so high, she'd never have come. Seeing Tate again, even if only for 5 minutes, would refresh all the feelings that an alphabet's worth of plans failed to control. The Cessna reached the end of the airstrip, and as Hettie taxied towards the hangar, she gave Tate a wave. It wasn't her imagination that he took a moment to uncross his arms and return her gesture. No doubt he'd been in his shed, working on a metal sculpture when Brenna had asked him to greet her. At least the dog on the back of the ute seemed excited at her arrival. The black and tan kelpie's tail hadn't stopped wagging. Once inside the hangar, and the front propeller had done a final loop, Hettie squared her shoulders. She could do this. She had to do this. It wasn't as though Tate was unfriendly or hostile. She was just invisible. She cast a quick glance over the shapeless jeans and navy jumper she wore. The irony wasn't lost on her. As a child, with her curly red hair and bright blue eyes, a name she always had to spell, and a well-publicized family tragedy, she'd attracted attention. Years later, she continued to do everything possible to go under the radar. Now here she was, wanting Tate to notice her. Movement flickered out her right window, and she took off her headset before unclicking her seatbelt. Wind rattled the tin of the shed surrounding her. The storm had to be getting close. Tate had moved to secure the Cessna by hooking a rope to the tie-down ring beneath the right wing. Hettie grabbed her duffel bag and opened the door to help. Icy air rushed over her, chilling her skin and whipping her loose hair into her eyes. When she could see enough to climb out, Tate had attached the left tie-down and was striding towards her. She braced herself for the impact of seeing him up close. The storm that would soon lash the mountain landscape was nothing compared to the emotions gathering within her. If possible, Tate's shoulders appeared broader beneath the heavy oilskin, his stubbled jaw more defined, and his set expression even more inscrutable. He wore his dark blonde hair longer, and the rebellious ends curled in tousled waves. Her grip on the duffel handle tightened. His mouth, though, was exactly as she remembered. He gave her a slow, half smile before he leaned in close to kiss her cheek. He still smelled so good, like pine and fresh high country air. She swallowed as the brush of his mouth against her cold skin melted her every sense. The intimacy of his greeting didn't mean anything. Tate was being his usual well-mannered self. His gaze swept over her face before lingering on her hair. She resisted the urge to lift a hand to untangle the messy strands. While a hair straightener had dealt with her unwelcome curls, the vivid